All right, this is the study guide for your Algebra 2, Unit 3, Unit Linear Equations and Inequalities. So we're going to start with problem number 1, numbers 1 and 2, and I made this graph, this really nice, very straight, pretty graph. So they want you to graph this line on here, or on the test it could possibly be choose the correct graph that goes with this equation. So either way, you need to put this graph on this line on the graph. All right. So the two forms we need to remember is slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, where m is your slope and b is your y-intercept. Or standard form, which is ax plus by equals c, where slope is equal to negative a over b, and the y-intercept is equal to c over b. All right. So you're going to choose one of these to use. Now this first one, it's not in standard form because the x is on one side and the y is on the other. And it's not quite in slope-intercept form because this 4 is still here. So the easiest way to do this would be to move 4 over so that you're in slope-intercept form. So the 4 is multiplied to y, which means it's going to divide on this side to both of these problems. 3 over 4 and 5 over 4. So now y equals 3 over 4x plus 5 over 4. So now we are in slope-intercept form, where m is slope and b is the y-intercept. So this number right here, 5 over 4, is our y-intercept. That's where a line crosses the y-line. On a graph, you have the y and the x line, all right? So this is 5 over 4, which is 1. 4 goes into 5 once with 1 left over. 1 and 1/4. So that means this line would cross the y-line at 1 and 1/4. So about right here through this line. All right, and then our slope is 3 over 4. Now slope is equal to the rise over the run. So the top number, the top number tells you how much you rise from this point, and the bottom number tells you how much you go left or right. Okay, so this number tells you whether you go up or down, and this one tells you if you go left or right. Okay. So they're both positive, which means positive on top means you go up, positive on bottom means you go to the right. So you're going to rise 3, so 1, 2, 3, and a run of 4 to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's your 2 points. Draw a line through those 2 points, and that is your line. All right, problem number 2. This one, if you look, notice it's in standard form already. It says 3x minus 5y equals negative 3. So in standard form, your slope is equal to negative a over b, and your y-intercept is equal to c over b. So let's start with the y-intercept. It's equal to c over b. In this equation, c is negative 3, and b is negative 5. Negative 3 over negative 5 is positive 3 over 5. All right, so this line goes through the y line at 3/5. So not quite 1. If you separate this into 5 pieces, the third one would probably be right here. So 3/5, and then the slope is equal to negative a over b. Negative a over b. So a in this equation is 3. So what's in front of x? So negative 3 over b, which is negative 5. 2 negatives make a positive. The slope is 3 over 5. So rise over run, it's going to rise 3 and go to the right 5 because they're both positive. So from here, it's going to rise 3, 1, 2, 3, and go to the right 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Draw your line between those 2 points, and there you have it. All right, for this problem, I'm going to skip problem number 3 and go to problem number 4 because number 4 also needs a graph to be used. So before I erase my beautiful graph, let's use it for problem number 4. Number 4 says solve the inequalities by graphing. So they give you 2 equations. X plus 2y is less than 2, and x minus y is greater than 4. So first off, you just solve for the line. So you solve like this is an equal sign and solve for your line. They're both in standard form, x plus y equals c. So ax plus by equals c. So you can find your slope and y-intercept. So in this line, our slope is going to be negative a over b. So right here we have 1x. You never see a 1, but that's what it means. So in this line here, our slope is going to be negative 1 over b, which is 2. Our slope is negative 1/2. That's m. M equals slope. And the y-intercept is equal to c over b, which c in this equation is 2. Ooh, 2, I don't know why I wrote a 6 right now. 2 over b, which is also 2. So the y-intercept is equal to 1. All right, so that means this line crosses the y line right here at 1. And then it has a slope of negative 1 over 2. So that means the rise is negative 1, which means it's actually going to go down 1. And the run is positive 2. So from here, it's going to go down 1, and then to the right, 2. Here, so that's our line. I'm going to go ahead and draw this line. Whoa, you get the point. All right, then you have to choose, because it's inequality, it's talking about greater than or less than. So we have to choose if this side of the graph is shaded or if that side of the graph is shaded. So what you do is you pick a point on either side. I like this point right here, point 0, 0. And you're going to put it in this equation. 0 plus 2 times 0 is less than 2. 0 plus 0 is less than 2. 0 is less than 2. Is that true? Yes, 0 is less than 2. So this side of the graph was true, so we're going to shade this side of the graph. All right, now we got to do our next line, which is x minus y is greater than 4. So again, we can find our slope by putting negative a over b. So a is 1, so negative 1 over b, which is negative 1. Two negatives make a positive, so it goes through. Our slope is 1. And then our y-intercept is going to be c over b. C is 4 in this case. 4 over b, which is negative 1. 4 over negative 1 gives us a negative 4. All right? Negative 4. So that means this line crosses the y line at negative 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4 right here. And then it has a slope of 1. Anytime you have a whole number for a slope, you have to put it over 1. So 1 over 1. That means a rise of 1, a run of 1, both positive. So you're going to go up and to the right. So this line is going to go this way. Again with my nice line. All right, and then same thing. We're going to choose if it's shaded on this side or on this side of this line. I'm going to pick 0, 0 again and put it in this equation. 0 minus 0 is greater than 4. 0 is greater than 4. That is not true. 0 is not greater than 4. So this side of the line was not true. So we're going to shade this side. So this side, this part right here will be double shaded. That is how you solve a two-order system. All right. All right, going back to problem number 3, they ask you to find the solution to these equations. So they've given you two equations. Both have an x and a y, so you aren't able to solve for either. But if you take both of them and eliminate either x or y, you can solve for them. So they taught you a couple different forms. They taught you to solve by graphing, by addition or subtraction, and by substitution. So those are the three forms they teach you. If you look at this, you can see that you have two that match identically and have opposite sides. So this problem is set up perfectly to just add them, and when you add them, your y's will eliminate. Now, two of them have to match. If this said 3x and x won't work because they're not both 3, all right? But these are both 1x, so that's why it works. So add the equation. 3x plus 1x is 4x. Negative 1 plus 1 is nothing, so those eliminate. Negative 4 plus 0 is negative 4. So 4x equals negative 4. So to solve for x, 4 is multiplied to x. The opposite of multiplication is division. So we're going to divide negative 4 by 4. Negative 4 divided by 4 is negative 1. Now they want y. So what you do to solve for y is you just take the x that you know now and put it in one of these equations, doesn't matter which one, and solve for y. So where x is at, I'm going to put negative 1 in the bottom equation. Negative 1 plus y equals 0. So y equals 0. This one's going to move over. It's going to become plus 1. 0 equals 1. Y equals 1. So your solution set would be x is negative 1 and y is 1. All right? Problems 5 through 8 ask you to find the slope of a line. All right? So we all should know our slope formula. It's the vertical change over the horizontal change. All right? So it's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now let me write that real quick. 2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, the 2 and the 1 don't mean much other than if you go 3 minus 4, you have to go negative 2 minus 3. You can't go 3 minus 4 and 3 minus negative 2. Okay, so if this is x, this is 1, you have to put the numbers here and here. All right, so to do this problem from 2 points, just subtract y minus y over x minus x. So this would say 4 minus 3 over 3 minus negative 2. So 4 minus 3 is 1. 3 minus negative means positive, so 3 plus 2 is 5. Your slope is 1/5. Now number 6, they give you the slope of a line in standard form. 5x minus 3y equals 4. In standard form, ax plus by equals c. Slope is equal to negative a over b. So in this equation, a is 5, so negative 5 over b, which is negative 3. Two negatives make a positive. The slope is 5 over 3. In problem number 7, they've given you an equation, 3y equals 5x plus 1. Now this one isn't in standard form, and it's not completely in slope-intercept form. But it can easily be put in slope-intercept form by dividing both the 5 and the 1 by 3. So y would equal 5 over 3x plus 1 over 3. All right? And in slope-intercept form, remember, this is your slope and this is your y-intercept. So your slope is equal to 5 over 3. And then again on number 8, they want you to solve from 2 points. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So in this problem, 1 minus negative 2 over 3 minus negative 2. 1 minus negative 2 is 1 plus 2 is 3 over 5. Your slope of that line is 3 over 5. All right, problems 9, 10, and 11, 12. You are asked to write the standard form, write in standard form the equation of the given line. All right, these will be required on your test with all your work shown. Okay, so make sure you know how to find your equation of a line. We'll be using our, we'll get to that in a minute. All right, so problem number 9, they give you 2 points to work with. Now, to find the equation of the line, the simplest way from 2 points is to find your slope and then use the point-slope formula, where you need 1 point and your slope. So start this equation by finding your slope. Y minus y over x minus x, so 5 minus 4 over 2 minus negative 2. 5 minus 4 is 1, and 2 minus negative 2 is 2 plus 2 is 4. So your slope is 1/4. Now you're going to put that in your point-slope formula. You can pick either point. I'll use this point right here. So y minus the y point, which is 5, equals slope times x minus the x point, which is 2. All right, when I have a fractional slope, what I do is I move the denominator and multiply it on this side and multiply my numerator on this side. All right, so do distributive property on both sides. 4 times y is 4y minus 4 times negative 5, which is negative 20. 1 times x is x. 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. Now they ask for these in standard form. So when I get here, what I need to do is change this to standard form. In standard form, you want x and y together on one side and your constant on the other. And you want them on the side where x is positive. To be in standard form, x has to be positive. So x is positive right here. I'm going to leave it here, and I'm going to move my 4y over here with it. It's positive here. So when I move it over here, it's going to be negative 4y. Over here, I have a negative 20. And I'm going to add this 2 because my constants need to go to this side 2. Negative 20 plus 2 is negative 18. X minus 4y. Then when you all have it all sorted out, you can flip it around, keep all your signs the same. So the final answer would be x minus 4y equals negative 18. All right, and number 10, they give you a point, and then they tell you that this line that you're writing the equation for is parallel to the line with the equation 3x minus 2y equals 6. So when they tell you if they're parallel, that means their slopes are equal. So what you need to find your slope is to know what the slope of this line is. This line is in standard form. And in standard form, slope is equal to negative a over b. So in this equation, ax plus by equals c. A is 3, so negative 3 because it's negative a over b. Over b, which is negative 2. Two negatives make a positive. The slope of this line is 3 over 2. So it has the same slope. So we're going to use this slope and this point. Same equation, the point slope formula. Y minus the y point, which is 5, equals slope, which is 3 over 2. Sorry, let me erase this. 3 over 2 times x minus the x point, which is negative 2. X minus negative 2. All right, so again, you have a fractional slope. You're going to move your denominator and multiply it on this side. And leave your numerator to multiply, that should have parentheses, on this side. And 2 negatives make a positive. So I'm just going to change that to x plus 2. All right, now do your distributive property. 2 times y is 2y. 2 times negative 5 is negative 10. Equals 3 times x is 3x. 3 times 2 is 6. All right, again, put it in standard form. They ask for standard form. My x is positive right here. I'm going to leave it there, 3x. I'm going to minus the 2y on this side. Over here, I already have a negative 10, and I'm going to subtract this 6. Negative 16 equals 3x minus 2y. And in standard form, 3x minus 2y equals negative 16. Now, moving on to problem number 11. In problem number 11, they tell you that m is equal to 1/3 and b is equal to 4. So they gave you everything you need for the slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b, where m is slope and b is the y-intercept. They give you everything you need for this. Y equals 1/3 x plus 4. But they ask you to put it into standard form. All right, so we're going to change this equation from slope-intercept to standard form. So we got to get rid of this fraction here. To get rid of the fraction, we're going to multiply the whole thing by the denominator, which is 3. 3 times y is 3y. 1/3 times 3 actually cancels, and you're just left with x. And then 3 times 4 is 12. All right, so to put it in standard form, x and y have to be put together on one side. In this equation, x is positive right here. We're going to move 3y over there with it, so it's going to be a negative 3y. And the 12 is going to move to this side, negative 12. So in standard form, x minus 3y equals negative 12. All right, and number 12, they give you 2 points again to work with. So it's going to work the same way as the previous one, number 8 did, when we did this problem. Number 12 says, find the equation of the line from point negative 2, negative 3, and 3, 1. All right, so number 1, we need to find our slope. So slope is y minus y over x minus x. I'm going to go 1 minus negative 3 over 3 minus negative 2. That's going to give me 4 over 5. So there's my slope. And then I can pick either of these points to work with. I'm going to choose 0.31. All right, so y minus the y point, which is 1, equals 4 over 5 times x minus 3. All right, with your fractional slope, you're going to move 5 to this side and multiply it by y minus 5. Y minus 1 will give you 5y minus 5 equals 4x minus 12. I went ahead and just did the multiplication. Again, in standard form, you're going to leave x where it is positive. Move the 5y over there with it. Over here I have a negative 5. Then I'm going to move my negative 12. Over here it's going to add, which gives me a 7 equals 4x minus 5y. So in standard form, 4x minus 5y equals 7. That's problems 8 through 12. 9 through 12, I'm sorry. Problems number 9 through 12. And remember, you will have to show all your work on those problems. All right, in problems number 13 and 14, they again ask you to find the slope. And in these problems, they ask you to find the slope and the y-intercept of two lines in standard form. You can see they wrote ax plus by equals c. So remember, slope in these is equal to negative a over b. And y-intercept is equal to, is equal to c over b. So in this problem, a is 3, so negative 3 over b, which is negative 4. Two negatives make a positive, 3 over 4. And this y-intercept is equal to c over b. c is negative 3 over, again, negative 4. So 3 over 4. They are both equal to 3 over 4. So the exact same thing for this problem. It's already in standard form. Just remember, put negative a over b for slope and c over b for the y-intercept. Okay, for problem number 15, they want you to find the common solution. Again, they've given you a system of equations. They've given you two equations, both with x and y, and you have to solve for one or the other. And again, you'll notice that you have two that are equal to each other with opposite signs. So this problem is set up perfectly to add, because when you add two opposites like that, they eliminate. So 3x plus 2x is 5x, and negative 2 plus negative, 2 plus negative 2 is nothing, they eliminate. 4 plus 5 equals 9. So x is equal to 9 divided by 5, 9 over 5. Now in this problem, they do ask you to tell them what x is and what y is. All right? So if you know what x is, you can substitute it into either one of these equations and solve for y. So I'm going to put 9 over 5 into the bottom equation. So it's going to say 2 times x, which we know is 9 over 5, equals, minus 2y equals 5. So I've just taken 9 over 5 and put it right here where x is at. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do this multiplication. 2 times 9 is 18. 18 over 5 minus 2y equals 5. To get rid of this, to get rid of the fraction, I'm going to multiply by 5 to eliminate the fraction in this equation. So I'm going to multiply by 5. The 5 cancels out here. You're left with 18 minus 10y equals 25. All right, so we want to isolate y. 18 is positive over here. So on this side, it's going to subtract 25 minus 18. Negative 10y equals 7. So y equals 7 divided by negative 10. So y is equal to negative 7 over 10. All right? So when x is 9 over 5, y equals negative 7 over 10. All right? And then they give you another system of equation here in problem number 16. 8x plus 13y equals 2, and y equals x minus 2. Now, you don't have any 2 that match. This is 8x and x, and 13y and 1y. So this isn't the perfect choice for addition. This is kind of the perfect choice for substitution because they've already solved for y in the bottom equation. Y equals x minus 2. So we know what y equals, so we're going to substitute. What y equals x minus 2, we're going to put up in this equation where y is at. Alright? So in this equation, we're going to go 8x plus 13 times y, which we know y equals x minus 2, equals 2. Alright, so do your distributive property. 8x plus 13x minus 13 times 2, negative 2 is 26, equals 2. Alright, add your like terms. 8x plus 13x is 21x, equals 2. And I'm going to add the 26 on the other side because it's minus on this side. 21x equals 28. So x equals 28 over 21, which reduces, they're both divisible by 7. 7 goes into 28 4 times and into 21 3 times. So we know x is equal to 4 over 3. Now to find y, we're going to put x into this equation and subtract 2. So y equals x, which we know is 4 over 3 minus 2. Alright, so you just have to subtract these fractions. 4 over 3 minus 2 over 1. To subtract, you need a common denominator. Multiply this one, top and bottom, by 3. You get 6 over 3. So 4 over 3 minus 6 over 3. 4 minus 6 is negative 2 over 3. So when x was 4 over 3, y equals negative 2 over 3. That's problem number 16. Problem number 17, they've given you the same thing, but they try to confuse you and throw some other letters in there. So we have px plus qy equals r, and 2px minus qy equals r. The same thing applies. You have a 1py and a negative 1py. So if you add these equations, those are going to eliminate. So you don't even have to worry about it too much. Add them. 1px plus 2px is 3px. These two are going to eliminate. And r plus 2r is 3r. So to solve for x, we got to divide 3r by 3p. And our 3's cancel. So x equals r over p. Alright, x is r over p. Now we need to find what y is, if x is r over p. So in the first equation, where x is at, yes, I'm going to put r over p. So it's going to say p times x, which is r over p, plus qy equals r. Alright, in this equation, something really simple happens. P times r over p, the p's cancel. What's left is r plus qy equals r, and we're solving for y. So we want to move the r to the other side. It's added. So on this side, it's going to subtract. R minus r is 0. qy equals r minus r is 0. Y would equal 0 divided by q, which is 0. Y equals 0. So when x is r over p, y is 0. All right. Problems number 18 and 19, they've again given you two equations. You've got to solve for the system of equations. In number 18, again, they've given you a perfect setup for substitution. X equals 2y minus 4. Your x's don't match, your y's don't match, so it's not a good choice for addition. Substitution is what you want to do. So where x is at in the first equation, I'm going to put 2y minus 4. So 5 times 2y minus 4 plus 10y equals 18. Do my distributive property. 5 times 2y is 10y. 5 times negative 4 is negative 20 plus 10y equals 18. Combine your like terms. 10y plus 10y is 20y minus 20 equals 18. The 20 is subtracted, so on the other side it's going to add 18 plus 20. 20y equals 38. Y equals 38 divided by 20, which is going to reduce by 2. 38 divided by 2 is 19. 20 divided by 2 is 10. 19 over 10. So in this equation, realize you've solved for y, not x. So in your solution, y is 19 over 10. And we need to find what x is. Erase this to get out of the way. Alright, y is 19 over 10. Now I need to put that in one of these equations and solve for x. So I'm going to choose this equation. So x is going to equal 2 times y, which I know is 19 over 10 minus 4. Alright, so 2 times 19 over 10, 2 is just going to multiply by 19, 38 over 10 minus 4. So let's go ahead and just subtract these fractions. 38 over 10 minus 4 over 1. Again, to subtract, we have to have a common denominator, which is 10. So times this one by 10 on top and bottom to give you 40 over 10. So 38 over 10 minus 40 over 10 is negative 2 over 10, which reduces to negative 1/5. So when y was 19 over 10, x is negative 1 over 5. All right, problem number 19. They've given you a system of equations. 3x plus y equals 7 and 2x plus y equals 9. So you'll notice you do have the y's are equal. They're both 1y. The problem is they're both positive. This really isn't a problem. Instead of adding these equations, you can just subtract these equations and they will eliminate. When you have the same sign here, you're going to subtract. If one's positive, one's negative, you're going to add. 3 minus 2 is x. Y minus y is nothing. 7 minus 9 is negative 2. So there we go. We already know x equals negative 2. And then in either equation where x is at, we're going to put negative 2. So in the bottom equation where x is at, I'm going to put negative 2. 2 times negative 2 plus y equals 9. Negative 4 plus y equals 9. Y equals 9 plus 4. Y equals 9 plus 4 is 13. So when x is negative 2, y is 13. All right, number 20. They're going to ask you again for the slope and the y-intercept. They really want to know that you know how to find the slope and the y-intercept from a line. All right, this equation they give you, 2x minus 5y plus 7 equals 0. This line is not quite in standard form because the 7 is still on this side with the x and y. But as soon as you move 7 to the other side, then you have a line in standard form. Remember, in standard, a over b, and the y-intercept is equal to c over b. So c over b. So in this equation here, a is 2, so negative 2 over b, which is negative 5. That's not for that one. Negative 2 over negative 5 is positive 2 over 5. And c is, for the y-intercept, c is negative 7 over b, which is negative 5, making it 7 over 5. Two negatives make a positive. All right, in problem 21, again, they've thrown in some other letters to make you nervous, but don't get nervous because in this equation, a is a, b is negative b, and c is s plus 1. Okay? See, in this one, a was negative 2, b was negative 5, and c was negative 7. It's the same thing, except for it's another letter rather than being a number. All right, so your slope is equal to negative a over b. So negative a is a, so negative a over b, which is negative b. Two negatives make positive, a over b. Your y-intercept is equal to c over b. C in this equation is s plus 1. That's not a 5, that is an s. Over b, which is negative b. So when you write this, you would actually put the negative on the top of the fraction, and the whole fraction is negative. So your slope is a over b, and your y-intercept is negative s over b. All right, for the last two problems in this study guide, they've given you 2 word problems. So you're going to write 2 equations for each and solve for the answer. Okay, so in problem number 22, one number is 3 less than twice another, and their sum is 42. Find the numbers. So we're going to call our numbers x and y. All right, so the easiest equation in this is that their sum is 42. So that means if you add them together, x plus y equals 42. The other equation is that one number is 3 less than twice another. So you can either put y or x. So say y is equal to, what does it say? 3 less than twice another. So it's equal to twice x minus 3. It's equal to, so one number is equal to 3 less than twice the other. All right, so we have a system of equations. If you'll look closely, you'll notice this is set up perfectly for substitution because this one's already solved for y. Y equals 2x minus 3. So in this equation where y is at, I'm going to put 2x minus 3. So x plus 2x minus 3 equals 42. All right, so because there's a plus in front of the parentheses, nothing happens. You can just come off. All right, add your like terms. X plus 2x is 3x minus 3 equals 42. 3x equals 42 plus 3. 3x equals 45, and x would equal 45 divided by 3, which is 15. So one number is 15. X is 15. So in this equation where x is at, I'm going to put 15. 15 plus what equals 42. So y would equal 42 minus 15, which I believe is going to be 27. So the two numbers that add to 42 are 27 and 15. All right, problem number 23. John made a rectangle pin for his dog using 32 feet of fencing. If the width of the pin is 2 more than 1/2 the length, what is the length and the width of the pin? All right, so in a pin, there are 4 sides, so that's called the perimeter. So the perimeter formula is 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. All right, and they tell us he used 32 feet of fencing. That means 2 times the length plus 2 times the width should equal 32 feet. The other equation is that the width of the pin is 2 more than 1/2 the length. So the width is equal to 1/2 of the length plus 2. So again, this is set up perfectly for substitution. Where W is at in the first equation, I'm going to put 1/2 L plus 2. So 2L plus 2 times 1/2 L plus 2 is going to equal 32. All right, so 2L, we got to do our distributive property. 2 times 1/2, 1/2 of 2 is 1, so that just leaves L. 2 times 2 is 4, equals 32. Combine your like terms. 2L plus L is 3L plus 4 equals 32. Subtract the 4 on the other side. 3L equals 32 minus 4, which is 28. And L, the length is going to be equal to 28 over 3. You can leave it in fractional form. The length is equal to 28 over 3. So now to find our width when the length is 28 over 3. So I'm going to put 28 over 3 into this equation. Width is equal to 1/2 the length, which we know is 28 over 3 plus 2. So go ahead and do your multiplication. 28 times 1 is 28, and 2 times 3 is 6 plus 2. Common denominator, we're going to go ahead and add these fractions. 28 over 6 plus 2 over 1. Our common denominator is 6, which would make this 6 and 12. Add your 26. 28 plus 12 is going to be 40 over 6. 40 over 6 would reduce. 2 goes into 40 20 times, and 2 goes into 6 3 times. 20 over 3. So your answers are 28 over 3, and 20 over 3. Sorry, got confused there for just a second. Alright, so two answers, 28 over 3 and 20 over 3 are your equations. Alright, make sure you've watched this video thoroughly. You know your form, standard form, slope-intercept form, and how to solve two equations, whether you use addition and subtraction or substitution, and you will do great on this test.